Hey y'all, welcome to the 30 something broadcast. We're going to be talking. No, not going to go into that yet. 30 something broadcast. 30 something broadcast. 30 something broadcast.
This is the 30 something broadcast.
30 something broadcast.
This is the 30 something broadcast.
Yo, what up, guys? This is the 30 something broadcast, a weekly broadcast about two men, not so young, living in their 30s. I got my good friend and co host here, Blake the Snake. Blake, how you doing? How was your week, man?
Pretty good, man. My beard fell off, so.
Yeah, I see that. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can see Blake shaved his beard off, man. What else? What else you got going on, bud?
Oh, dude, packing, man. Portland's tomorrow. Been good, dude. School's wrapped up, getting registered for the next semester, but all's well, homie. How about yourself?
Hey, man, I'm doing good, brother. I had a pretty crazy beginning of the week. On last week's show, I talked about some of the bad things that went down. You know, last week was kind of tough. Come Monday, I had replaced all the tires on my Buick LeSabre. They're white wall, so it costs a little bit. And then the same day, I'm driving my wife's car around while it's in the shop. The battery dies, so I have to replace the battery. Simple mechanics, saved my butt. I
There
was
it is.
able to put that battery in myself, so it cost me a little money. It's okay. Everything's running good now. You can follow me on YouTube. JT the Juice Man is my channel. I just put up a blog there. I talked about not cursing so much in our videos or my videos anymore. Trying to understand the power of foul language. That the power of a curse. So that's something I kind of thought
That's interesting.
on.
What caused you to think about that right there?
Looking up some old vlogs that people said they like and going back and watching them, and it's MF this, MF that, GD. Listen to the vlog if you want to know more. I'll get more detail there. But like even on here, man, like our parents shared this. You said your grandparents had listened. I want people to be able to enjoy this all ages. One cuss word every 30 minutes, you might get some. I might slip a little oh hell yeah in there, but like toning it down just a little bit.
I like it. I like it.
So what we got going on, big dog? What's the week's agenda?
Today we're going to be talking a little bit about content. We're going to be talking a little bit about, just kind of the breakdown, whether it's routine, whether it's a little bit more fluid or whatnot. But, just kind of your activities. What are you up to during the week? What interests you? And
Last week's show was kind of a heavy hitter where we hit you with like the six proverbs of 30, life in your 30s. I think this week we're going a little bit lighter and just going to kind of let the conversation guide itself. I know we both wrote down some things. I figured we'd title the show Life as a 30-ish year old because we're both still actually 29. You're going to be hitting 30 soon. We're going to do a special show then. But yeah, so this is Life as a 30-ish year old. We're going to be discussing content, how we take in content, what content we're taking in. We're going to discuss like just some everyday going-ons about the way we are living and how we handle life. Am I right?
that's right, man.
Cool, man. Well, I guess we could go ahead and actually get started with that. The content we're taking in, I just feel like it's a really important thing we've discussed on a previous show that what you take in is what you give out. What you eat is what you poop, and when you're taking in through your eyes and into your brain so much content in this modern day American life and really almost global life now, everywhere is pretty much one click. You got whatever you want. So I figured we could talk about the content we're actually taking in. Let me ask you this. Well, give me like a top three types of content you take in, with what being the most, and how do you take in that content?
I'd say my top three would be, just straight up TV would, probably take number one.
Right,
But
television shows, movies.
I'd say when I'm home, that's my kind of go-to. When I'm not home though, dude, I kind of like to watch a lot of YouTube. That's definitely a big outlet for me, as far as just like finding stuff. And honestly, music has been one of the largest forms, for me. Like I just have always gravitated, towards music. So those are the three big heavy hitters for me, man. And I'd say TV is really it's one of those things that I struggle with, actually.
Yeah, a lot of people do, man. A lot. It's funny. I have never. Well, I would not say I've never had a problem with it. I'd say back in the day when you had to rent, or hell, Blake, you had to buy seasons of shows, and Lost was real big. And I lived with a buddy of mine. I was 19, just gotten out of the house. We bought every season of Lost we could. We bought every single season of the X Files, and we watched them on DVD, y'all. We are old, man. It's so crazy. And uh, Now that I'm older, I think I got that out of the way quick. I don't consume very much television. Now, I'm not saying I don't watch any. I watch a few shows. Preacher. I've been watching this new show, Snowfall. I actually have a TV set up right here. When I'm editing videos, when I'm actually watching TV, I like live sports a lot. You've seen.
Yeah,
You've been here. You came over here last year. I had the NBA Finals on my phone out by the fire pit while we were burning stuff.
that's right. Yeah, that's good, man. I've never seen that Preacher, but I do like Better Call Saul, which is on that network, AMC, right?
AMC does a lot of good stuff. What they did, they
They killed
did The Walking Dead, both
Breaking
series of The
Bad
Walking Dead, Breaking Bad. Yeah, they've got some good stuff, man.
hitters, dude.
Was
Yeah,
was Mad Men on AMC?
yeah. Sons of Anarchy, Mad Men.
Come on, you know.
Dude, they're killing it, man. These Hulu, Netflix. That's we'll probably get into this, but I've cut the cord. As far as cable,
Right.
we're all streaming Netflix, Hulu, HBO Go, all that. But
That's a show on its own right there, man.
that for sure, dude, for sure. But Hulu, man, there's a show on there called The Path. That's definitely a binger for me. I'll be honest with you, but it's a little bit heavy. It's a little bit weird. It's about a cult, so that can get kind of a little
Well,
dark.
and I'll say the one show I do probably binge watch at least right now is The Strain, which is also like super heavy. It's on FX, so it's very adult. It's about
That
vampires
out.
taking over the world. It's pretty good, man. Yeah.
I was just gonna say that's definitely in the same vein. The
Right.
serious.
Yeah, a darker tint.
Yeah, that's definitely. But anyways, man, what are your three?
Well, I'll tell you, number one, honestly, is podcasts, man. I listen to a lot of podcasts. I'd say hourly content I consume daily, it would be, I probably consume anywhere from 2 to 6 hours of podcasts. Now, that's including my drive to and from work. When like today, I'm off. I was walking around. I was editing some video, doing some stuff around the house. I had a wrestling podcast on. Shout out to Wrestling Soup. It's a wrestling podcast I listen to. If you're into wrestling, you should check those guys out. When I go to bed at night, I listen to a 2 hour podcast usually, or like two 1 hour podcasts. Give me one
Yeah, yeah.
second. I'm gonna turn my mic down. Hold on. Sorry there. I was peeking a little bit. I had to get my microphone turned down. But okay, so podcasts would be number one. I'd say number two, probably video games. Now I'm not a big, huge gamer anymore. Again, in a past life I have been. Now it's a lot more toned down. I got the Nintendo Switch the day it came out. I actually went and slept in a GameStop parking lot to get that thing, man. So I like my video games, but I play this game Binding of Isaac. It's just a little game. It's just it's just a video game, man. I play that. That's pretty much all I play, and I'd say I pick it up and play it one playthrough, 2 or 3 times a week. So probably 5 or 6 hours of video games a week, which is still, when I think about it, I'm like, man, that's a lot of time. I would say when you write down any of this stuff that we're consuming, you're probably like, I consume 30 hours of television a week. That's a freaking job, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'd say the third thing is probably for me, probably television. Music and television switch for me. When I'm on a big podcast binge, I don't listen to as much music. If I get kind of depressed, like on the way home from work, I'll put on some rap, and kind of get
Sure.
back to feeling myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't, same, I was in a band. I don't know. I made music for a long time, so I've always consumed music in kind of a weird way, man.
You're definitely like you got the creative vibe
Right.
more than
Being a creator, like, I think it affects the way I like consume content.
definitely, man. Well, those are definitely. I mean, I can relate with you on those. The video games for me, dude. I like some old stuff like Nintendo, but I'm not. I've got an Xbox 360. That's as recent as I am.
But
I
you
like
still get on there and play Forza every now and then. I know you'll hit me up. I've been on Forza, yeah.
right. You know what I'm talking about with some Forza, dude. That is definitely a weakness of mine, you could say, but that's only when the lady's not around. Usually.
Right, and that's the same here. And the thing about the Switch is it's portable, but like if she has somebody over, they're cooking dinner,
Get those
they're
headphones in and just be.
play my game, and I'm still in the living room hanging out with them. What I'll really do is, Blake, I don't even put the headphones in. I mute the game. I set it
Uh,
up on a stand, and I play with the controller. And then when they're talking about Tim cheating on Lisa at one of their jobs, I can give my 2 cents and tell Tim to quit being an asshole.
yeah. Yeah.
Guys, that's kind of how we're consuming content and what we're consuming, as we hit our 30s, and things that maybe you can check out if you're interested. Like I said, Preacher. Let me ask you this, Blake. What's your top two television shows?
House of Cards.
Okay, good
That's
choice.
number one. And number two, man, is I just recently got into Game of Thrones, and I gotta hand it to him. It's a good show, and I'm binging on it right
See,
now.
I'm
So
still holding out on Game of Thrones until it's over, and I'm just going to watch it all. And I watched the first 2 or 3 seasons of House of Cards. It might be my favorite show. Right now it's Mad Men. House of Cards might take its spot, but I'm waiting the same. I'm going to let it finish. I'm going to binge watch what I've already seen, get caught up, and just watch it straight through so I can fully immerse myself in the story, man. I love what's the actor's name,
Frank,
man?
well, Kevin Spacey, but Frank Underwood is the
Frank
character.
Underwood, man. I want to get a portrait of him tattooed on my back, bro. Him, Trump, and Obama on my freaking holy trinity back. You know what I'm saying, dude?
Yeah, dude, there you go. So let's get into.
Well,
I got a couple.
let me give you my top 2 shows. Jesus Christ, you just want to pass me right by and get on to business. You know, it's like who cares about JT, man? I would say right now, Preacher, check it out. AMC. It's lighthearted. It's kind of dark too, though. It's an adult graphic novel turned into a show. I'm telling you, give it a chance. Bro, you better report back, Preacher, all right? The Strain right now. I'm just watching those two, so right now they're the top two in my thing. But check out the Preacher, check out The Strain. So
All
let's
right,
get into
cool,
our
cool.
next topic. How about that?
I've heard a lot of good things about Preacher, man. So I definitely will have to check that out.
Cool, man.
I know one thing for me, like I'm a routine guy. I'm a kind of a creature of habit. There's some people out there that thrive on that, and there's some people out there that just hate it.
Right.
And I'm one that thrives from structure. That was something I wanted to ask you. So let's ping off that for a second. What are you a routine guy?
Well, I'll tell you with the way I think it's from being a cook and my schedule just being completely different week in, week out. Like, I never know when I'm off. I never know if I'm going to get called in to work a double because I work a double. You call me, I'm there. So I think that in ways I'm very structured and in ways I'm not. I've actually been working 9 to 4s lately, like wake up, go to work at 9 a.m., get off at 4 p.m. That's really helped with structuring because I can get up, make my cup of coffee, grab a little breakfast bar, hit the road, listen to some like preaching on the way to work on a podcast, and then get there, get the job done. I'm off by 4 and there's things I can get done after work. When I work, 3 to 11 p.m., it's hard. It's a lot harder, man.
It
Uh,
is.
and I'm also very chaotic. Like this room right now is clean, but there's another one that's not. I'll jump on it, and this one will fall by the wayside for a little while. So like I kind of move my control chaos around. But I'll tell you, the older I get, and the more I become a routine guy, the more I feel like life kind of makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I would say like in my daily just kind of back and forth, I thrive off of the routine, man. It's definitely something that I noticed about myself in my mid 20s, and it's just kind of become like when I wake up in the mornings, first thing I do is feed the cat. Second thing I do is if it's the weekend, I put a pot of coffee on. If it's during the week, I just go ahead and get dressed for work. I don't even mess with coffee. I wait till I get to work to get the coffee,
Yeah, same here a lot of times. Yeah.
Dude, coffee is like a crucial part of the routine. You know what I mean? Like, there's no like smile on my face until that coffee is.
Also, an easily abused part of the routine. People don't like to talk about. Coffee has so much love right now in our culture, but you can definitely abuse coffee. I mean, y'all, if you're drinking coffee to the point it's making you feel sick or like, blah, 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 there's negatives to coffee too. I know there's all these doctors say coffee cures cancer. Coffee does all this, but there's also like, it accelerates your heart rate. Like it is an upper.
Can definitely have a negative effect in overconsumption, but that's definitely one thing in the morning time. That's part of the routine, and
Right.
like even the smell of coffee. It's a weird psychological thing, man. But I just wake up at the smell of coffee.
No, I love the
Uh,
smell of coffee out when I brew it in the kitchen in the mornings, and then I'll go get like brush my teeth and get ready. When I come back, honestly, the aromatherapy of it and picking that cup up and smelling it like that, I don't know. There's something more to that almost than actually drinking the coffee. And I definitely think that there's something to that for sure, man. I'm sure everybody out there, if it's a coffee lover, and people that like beer and wine, they'll tell you the same thing too. Like they like that initial smell before the taste.
Yeah, there's definitely people out there like a little, something at the end of the day, whether it's, a beer or a glass of wine. Or I don't personally do that, but dude, I mean, that's definitely an adult decision to make, and I definitely will on the weekends do that, but
Right.
during the week, it's not really something that I'm trying to go to or go towards.
Or smoke a joint, or whatever you're into. Just make sure you can handle it with proper consumption. Don't act all crazy. Don't let it control you. We talked about that on a previous show. Like coffee all the way to drugs. I mean, I hate to say it, but it's real life, And if you can do certain things and control it, that's great, And well, here's the thing: it will negatively affect your routine. It will negatively affect who you're trying to become because anything that changes your brain chemistry can slowly take over other parts of what you're trying to do. And we'll
Yeah,
go to something a little lighthearted now. I mean, we don't got to delve too deep into that. I wanted to ask you, what's your social life like as a 30-year-old man? And we don't got to. I know that's a very broad term, but I'm saying like, do you consider yourself a social person, or what to you is a social gathering or social event, and how often are you a part of like a social thing?
I would not like consider myself a super social person. I enjoy doing things a few times a month. That usually means like either with family, most of the time family. Me and my lady, we've got like a number of couple friends, and as you get older and you kind of end up making more couples
Yeah,
friends.
right,
I would say our first year dating, living together, it was really hard for us to like find outlets socially, and because I had a lot of like single friends that I had just hung out with, and when she moved here, she didn't have a whole lot of friends, so it was kind of like we could go hang out with one of my friends, but she didn't know them, so
right,
us making friends together was what really catapulted our social life, because now we've got maybe 6 to 8 couples that we can go hang out with on any given weekend,
right.
and that's really nice to know. If you've had a hard week, man, you can call up some friends and go hang out, have a bonfire or something.
Yeah, I like this. I like the couple structure too because like when y'all come up here, we can disappear and go do something for a minute, and that leaves like our girls to kind of hang out and get to know each other better because we're kind of the closer friends. But then at the same time, say we go out double date to a park, there's a point where like I'm walking with your girl, you're walking with my girl, and we're getting to know each other too. So it allows you to have like a relationship with the other sex because that's the thing. People are like, monogamy doesn't work. Monogamy does work. You just have to know how to have a healthy dose of like friendships and relationships with the opposite sex that are platonic.
Yeah,
And I feel like couple dates and stuff, they really allow that kind of game to be played. It's like a platonic date almost.
I'd say it's more like a synergy. You know what I
Right.
mean? When two couples come together, it's not, you've got more stuff to talk about because you've got four brains to pick at versus just two or three or whatever. But yeah, man. So what about you? Do you think that you're more social now, or what's up?
Well, am I social? Am I not social? We're going to get to that. But first, Blake, we're going to take a vape break, buddy.
Uh-oh.
I don't know what's going on, man. I don't know what's going on, man. I don't know what's going on, man.
Where? I don't know what's going on, man. We're back. We're back. We're back. We're talking social life. You were asking me what I am I a social person or what I consider a social life.
Yeah, you're in the hot seat.
I mean, man, not really. My wife actually gets on to me. She not so much anymore because I've worked on it. Young men out there, a little advice: take in what your wife's telling you. You married her for a reason. If she's telling you you need to work on something, you probably do. She would get on to me that I wasn't social enough and I was kind of a hermit. I had a friend that passed away. He was like my best friend that I hung out with all the time. So I kind of sheltered myself from the world for like a year. I just started a new job, so I can be social at work right now because I'm meeting people there every day.
Yeah, that's an outlet though. I mean, that
Right.
is a social outlet for
I'm
sure.
building relationships. It's a big crew. It's like 65 people too. So I'm like, it's almost like a factory. It's a huge restaurant, man.
I've been to eat at your restaurant, dude. Amazing
Cool,
food. Oh,
man. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. We ain't gonna tell you the name of it though, dog, because I don't want you harassing me.
yeah, yeah. We're not gonna give names.
Maybe one day. Maybe when they sponsor the show.
Yeah, no, see, it's you gotta pay attention. There might be subtle things going on in the background. I mean, hey, I'm just saying.
But socially, I'm kind of on the same page you are, brother. I got some couple friends we hang out with. We go get lunch with this couple that lives up the road from us. They just bought a house. They're engaged. They're planning their wedding. Very similar lifestyle. You and your girl, of course, y'all come up when you can. We still need to come visit y'all. We live in a town. I'm not going to say where again, but we live in a town that's an actual, like, a destination town. It's a tourist town. So a lot of our friends, they're able to come up, spend a weekend with us for free in our guest room, and then they're able to go see these different spots that like people spend big money to come up here, man. You know
Yeah,
where we
no,
live, man.
they do. It's nice up there. I mean, I don't want to give it away.
It's
So
Asheville, North Carolina. We're just gonna say it, all right? Asheville. If you haven't ever checked it out, you should. But okay, my wife is way more of a social butterfly. Like she's actually going to New York City next weekend for 4 days with some of her girlfriends. They were like her bridesmaid group in the wedding. Some of them were, and she goes to the cabin for the weekend with her girls from Charlotte. That's where we came from before we lived here. And she has a strong friend group of ladies she went to college with and stuff. You know, I don't really have that, man.
but see, that's the balance, though, man.
Right.
You know, in the relationship, she's the extrovert, and you might be the introvert with extrovert or tendencies
Right,
to.
right. I'm
But
introvert tendencies, and she's extrovert tendencies because she's not crazy or flamboyant. She's really quiet and and like reserved. You've met her, you know, and so, but she'll go and she'll have some drinks with the girls, and she'll get a little chatty, you know, and sometimes a little moody, and I got to deal with that stuff. You know, I'd rather her go out with the girls, and I don't got to deal with it. I get to play my Nintendo while she's gone, you know.
for me, during the week, I'm pretty low key. You know, I come
Right.
home from work, and that's really when the routine side kicks in. Like, come home from work, shower, eat dinner, watch some TV, hang out, and then go to bed. And it's like boom, 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 boom. But on the weekends, there's definitely a little more freedom to travel or go visit friends or go see family or whatever, man. But those are pretty constant things, I would say, for both of us. I know you're really close with your family too. And I mean, dude, that is a great
Yeah.
social outlet. Family, man, gosh, dude, there's no replacing that.
Family is to me the number one like form of social life. Like I call my dad and mom about every other day. My dad a little bit more right now. I said in another show he's dealing with some health issues, so I call him about daily and check on him, and then I'll call my mom and kind of talk to her about that. I talk to my stepdad. I text him 3 or 4 times a week just about fantasy football or
Yeah.
guns or whatever he's into, Obamacare not working, whatever we want to talk about. I talk to my brother constantly. We play video games together. I have a 15-year-old sister that I'm real close with. So that's kind of really where my social life is more. I just feel like family is a very important thing in life. What we're going to do now is a little exercise. We're going to everything we just kind of talked about where we're at in our lives, about how we're consuming content, if we're social or not, what's going on as an adult, what the routine's like as a 30-year-old. Let's go a little retrospective. Let's look back. 20 years old, well, 20 years old. What do you think are some key differences in how you're living now and how you were living then? Let me ask you this. What were you into? We'll break it down through the list. Content. What were you into and how were you taking it in 10 years ago?
10 years ago, man, I was iPod. That was my life.
iPod. Wow.
Straight up, man. And I've still got, it's in the closet there. I would say journaling was a big outlet for me. I kind of came up right as the internet was showing its face. I mean, I remember AOL, dial-up. I was kind of into my own little world of like trying to be an artist, trying to write, create music while YouTube was coming on the scene and stuff. And so like I was really late to realizing what some of these, new avenues were. I would definitely say back then music was probably my biggest form of content, going to shows. And that tied in with my social life. Everything that I was really into revolved around music and trying to hang out with people and trying to party, just have fun. What about you, man? 10 years ago.
10 years ago, I kind of touched on it earlier. I was in a band, so we were making content, making music. I was listening to a lot of hardcore bands like Have Heart, Terror, bands you may or may not know about.
I don't
Um,
know.
I was, it's all good. Yeah, I was going to shows. That was kind of my social life as well. I was really into the music scene in Charlotte. I was buying seasons of shows like Oz. Man, it's already been 10 years since Lost came out. Ain't that so crazy? But Oz, Lost, anything we were into, we could get our hands on for cheap off of eBay, somewhere like that. We were buying seasons of it. I was also illegally pirating tons of music because there was no like stream service or anything for
Yeah.
anything. So I was downloading whole discographies. See, that was the thing. Before that, you could only download a song at a time. I was downloading discographies. I was downloading every Nas album with B cuts. I was downloading every Lil Wayne mixtape. I was downloading everything I could. Had a huge 2 terabyte hard drive full of music. I don't listen to any of that stuff anymore. I should just delete it. But it's hard to let go sometimes.
I'm in the same boat, man. Yeah.
So, okay, so that was our content. Now, what was your social life like? I guess you said you were kind of just partying and living for the moment. You want to like get on that a little bit more?
Not too much, but I would say back then my priorities were not like in any type of order. You know what I mean? It was
Right,
like,
and that's where the routine comes into play so strongly.
yeah, I was like growing up probably more, I succeeded better under discipline versus when I was just kind of given like free reign, you know?
Right.
Like I said, I realized kind of from an early age, like I don't like structure, but I kind of flourish under it. And I had to go to military school when I was in like eighth grade. That was kind of, that'll whoop your ass into a
I
structure.
bet it will.
Yeah. But I mean, dude, see, I look back on that time and I'm thankful because that taught me how to like structure my day and like plan for things and just like basic things that I just wasn't like registering as a young teenager. Socially, dude, back then, man, I don't know, I didn't have my stuff together. So I felt I was always kind of like a chameleon, just I would go with one group for a couple months and then, go to a different group and it was never really anything true.
Right, nothing solid.
I would say, the times I hung out with you and Carter, like way back in the day, and we would just sit around and watch DVDs over and over again. Like that was more fun for me than like going to the club or anything. I mean,
Yeah.
and I definitely did all that stuff, but I was just never really like a club guy. I mean, or a bar scene. That wasn't me.
Well, I'll tell you that now I got a little bar hoppy and drinking and stuff in my mid 20s about 4 or 5 years ago. But we're talking 10 years ago. I was straight edge. I wasn't a hardcore. I didn't drink, smoke, vape. I had a girlfriend. I was in a band, so I had like many girlfriends at once. I was just out living crazy, not living right, morally unjustifiable actions on my part. Things I
Yeah,
still like. There's still scars there. Emotionally and mentally. From the way what I was putting myself through. But
yeah,
I will say this. I found out at an early age, from probably about 15 to 21, I was a part of that hardcore scene and metal scene in Charlotte, North Carolina, and that really helped me create like a structure of how to like weave my way through social groups and really like, and I don't mean like from group to group, I mean through one group. I can break a group down, and that's how I got big in vaping. When I watch like retro video game YouTube channels or anything, I always tell my wife, this is just like hardcore. It's a dick measuring contest. It's all, you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
ego. I understand ego. Like it really taught me a lot early. So there I learned. But now with that knowledge, like I put myself out on the internet some, but I stay home, and that's the difference. That's the big difference. I'm now it's like fantasy football with my dudes. We'll go watch some games on a Sunday if I have it off.
Yeah.
10 years ago it was I was going to 3 or 4 shows a week, an hour and a half away in each direction, and who cares? Who cares what happens? I missed work. Let them fire me.
The priorities become a real deal thing, man. As you get older, you got to face the facts. The social life becomes a little less prominent, and you realize work is more important. And that's definitely something that we both kind of probably came to the conclusion of the hard way. I'd say we probably took take some jobs we didn't want to
Of
take.
course.
Those are all stepping stones, and I mean it's all part of your story and your experiences vary, but they all contribute to the overall, big picture of, who you are and your character and all that. That's good stuff, man. I like that. That was a good conversation.
Yeah, man, I thought that was a real good conversation, man. I think we can cut it there and call it a week, and we'll get together next week, and we'll do a little outro here, guys. I hope y'all are enjoying what you're hearing. We're trying to grow an audience here. We're still adapting and learning ourselves. We're trying to get more comfortable in front of the camera and microphone. By the time this episode is up, there will be a Podbean account with the first, probably episode 3 and 4, because of the sound being a lot better. I might leave the first 2 episodes on YouTube only, exclusives, or we'll see what we do. I'll mess around. But anyway, long story short, Podbean will be up by the 5th episode. I'm hoping to be on iTunes. Blake, where can they find you, brother?
I'm on Instagram, man. Blake Jordan. I've got YouTube, but again, it's just dead right now. So we'll just leave it at Instagram.
Cool, and you're trying to get you're working on getting an Instagram set up for the channel as well, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's happening as well. I need to get on the ball a little bit more with that. So, but
It's a
you
work
know,
in progress, man. We're working on it.
I, Yeah, so I mean, there's just been a lot going on. I'm about to be in Portland for a week, so JT will be working on some of the stuff for the next one, and then the next one will probably be a little lighthearted, right? JT, is that what we're?
Yeah, I figured, I don't know if you'd be open to it, but I figured you could maybe take the iPad and actually check in from Portland, and we could do a little thing like that, or we could maybe plug. I know you were saying for your YouTube channel, you were thinking about doing a travel vlog or something, and starting kind of getting that ball rolling. So I figured maybe you could either check in from Portland, or we could just do a little show when you return from Portland, and it could be like Blake has returned with news. You know what I mean? Like, so I figured we could do one or the other. We'll go a little lighthearted, and we are working on some heavier stuff, guys. If y'all like the 30-something proverbs that we worked on for the episode 3, we have an episode in the works right now for something a little bit heavier like that. We've got a few things, a few ideas we're bouncing around, and we're going to continue to offer you a weekly show where we get together and discuss, life as 30-year-olds, or ideas or concepts we have, and that's really the gist of what we're doing here, and I really like where it's heading, man.
Yeah, it feels good, man. Feels good. I like the flow. I like the feel for it. It's good.
And as always, guys, we're gonna cut it off here. I'm JT, and I'm speaking for my good friend Blake here. We're the 30 something broadcast, and until next time, y'all, have a good one.